Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be sharing another pedicure video with you today. This is going to be a fall inspired pedi, and all of the polishes that I use are from the drugstore. Let's get started. Before I tend to my toes, I need to tend to my feet. So I like to use the Diamond Cell foot file to soften up my heels and the sides of my big toe, which tend to get a little more calloused, a little more dry, and a little more hard. So I'm going to use this to soften them up. With 100% acetone, I am going to saturate a cotton ball and remove all of the polish that is currently on my toenails. Luckily, this is a really light shade, so it should remove with no problem. Using a small nail clipper, I am going to trim my toes just a little bit. I haven't cut them since the last time I did a pedicure, and they definitely grew a little bit. Some of them have broke, and I was definitely pretty hard on them towards the end of the summer. I think the white spots on the nail is from them actually being like jammed and shoved into walls and doors and whatnot. So I'm glad that the polish I'm going to use today is going to cover that, but I'm going to do my best to kind of even them out right now. All right, I'm going to sweep these clippings away, and then I'm going to grab my Revlon nail file. I love these because they're just super coarse and really great for the toes. They're tiny, they're thin, and they work best when I'm doing my pedicures. So I'm going to do my best to file in one direction to give the toenail a good shape. I love a square look, but I don't like sharp corners. The closer they are to a 90-degree angle, the more prone they are to break on the corners. So I do my best to kind of make them squovels or square nails with rounded edges. Using my favorite cuticle pusher, I'm going to push back the overgrown cuticles on each toe. I love this particular tool so much because it is a really hard plastic. It doesn't bend, and it gets the job done better than anything else I've ever used. Using my cuticle clipper, I'm going to remove any of the cuticles that we pushed back that really need to go. I'm not a huge fan of cutting my cuticles, normally ever, but sometimes there's just a little too much dead skin and it's got to be removed. Using a fine grit buffing cube, I'm just going to buff the surface of each toe. This isn't going to rough them up too much, it's just going to get them smooth and ready for polish. I'm going to take a little bit of 100% extra virgin coconut oil and rub it into my feet, really massaging it into the dry areas, especially the cuticles and the heels. I want to take a Q-tip soaked in acetone and remove any oils that may be lingering on the nails, especially that coconut oil that we just applied. This is going to help completely dry out the nail and get it ready for your base coat. So I'm just going to pop on a couple of toe separators. I find it so much easier to paint my toes when they aren't on top of one another. And then I'm going to grab the Sally Hansen No More Stains Spray On Base Coat. I featured this in my last pedicure video. I had used it for the first time there, and I completely fell in love. It just removes another step of the pedicure process. It's really nice not having to paint a base coat on. I try to cover as much of my toes as I can with a paper towel, and then I mist this onto each nail. Any bit of the spray that does make its way onto the skin, I just quickly wipe off with the paper towel. All right, on to the most exciting part, and that is the color. I'm going to be using one of Sally Hansen's Miracle Gel polishes today. This is the color Can't Beat Royalty. It's a beautiful fall red. I'm just going to apply a really thin coat to each toe and then clean up with my thumbnails as I go. The Miracle Gel line is one of my all-time favorites. I love everything about it, the shape of the bottle, the shape of the brush, the formula itself, the way that the color wears and lasts. And I don't normally use the step 2 top coat. I like to mix and match my own base and top coats. I find that they're really compatible and they work with pretty much everything. No matter what base coat you use, just be sure that you use one, especially when working with darker colors. They will stain your nail. Once the first coat is pretty dry to the touch, we're going to go back in and do a second coat. Again, keeping the layers pretty thin. You don't want to overdo it and use too much polish. That's when you get bubbles and you're more prone to smudging. The I&M Out the Door Fast Drying Top Coat is the best bang for your buck. You can find this pretty much at any drugstore nowadays. It's about $5 to $7 depending on where you get it, and the bottle lasts forever. The polish never gets gloopy. It's honestly incredible. So I just take a little bit of this on the brush and apply it to each toe. Your nails are going to dry pretty much instantly. I know capping the edge is kind of tricky on toes because they're so tiny, but if you can, definitely try to do so. All right, not to brag, but I think these are looking pretty good. So what I'm gonna do now is take another Q-tip soaked in acetone and start to clean up around the toes. You wanna make sure that your Q-tip is really soaked, but not dripping. And if it starts to get a little too dirty, especially since we're working with a darker polish, get a new one. You don't wanna be smudging polish all over your toes. It's gonna completely defeat the purpose of doing this in the first place. For harder to reach areas, especially flooded nail beds, take a Q-tip. You could even take one of the used Q-tips and just pull the cotton off of it and then soak the tip of that in acetone. I have just a cap full of acetone here, and then wedge it into that tighter area. I find that this works best for flooded nail beds or the sides. Once the polish is dry and all of the toes are cleaned up, we're going to take some cuticle oil. This is the Sally Hansen Vitamin E cuticle oil. I love this stuff. I've used it forever, and I'm just going to apply a little bit to each nail bed. It's going to help rehydrate the toes and the cuticle area. It's also going to help prevent any potential smudging. Let's whip off the toe separators and see the final look. And here you have it, a fresh pedicure for fall using all drugstore products. I absolutely love how these toes turned out. There's nothing like red toes. It's just such a classic color. This pedi was so easy to do myself that spray-on base coat is a must-have for anybody who does their own toes or struggles to do their own toes. It's so easy to use. The Miracle Gel line is incredible. I cannot rave about it enough. And the I&M Out the Door top coat is also a must-have. That is it for this video. I'm going to link everything I used below. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you haven't entered my 10K giveaway, it is going to be live until the 17th of October. I'm giving away some really, really awesome prizes to celebrate this channel reaching a huge milestone. So I'll link that video below as well. Leave me a comment below letting me know if you enjoyed this video and what else you would like to see from me. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my coffee before it is completely ice cold, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.